Hello everyone, Mike Simon aka Dirt Perfect here again on the Heavy Metal Learning channel, and today we're going to discuss a topic I get questions about almost daily. How do I become an operator? Alright guys, like I said before, my name is Mike Simon aka Dirt Perfect, and I've been operating heavy equipment for well over 20 years. Been self-employed in the excavating business for about 15 years. And one of the questions I get more often than not is how do I get started in the excavating business, or how to become an operator? So we could go a lot of different directions with this video, but we're going to shoot on the basics of how I believe you can get your foot in the door to become an operator. So first things first, and this is probably one of the more important ones, is it don't matter if you're operating a road grader, a roller, excavator, bulldozer, crane, fork truck, you got to know the basics about that piece of machinery, the bare essentials, from the safety to the capacities to its intended purpose in life. Now that begs the question, how do I go about getting this stuff? And the first way is the most proven way, and it's been around forever. It's called a little book called the Owner's Manual, and most machines, it's right behind the seat. It is absolutely stacked full of great information provided by the manufacturer on the proper use and the proper intended purposes of that machine and how it's supposed to be used. Now, that's not the only way. There is other options you have. There is a lot of companies out there that actually offer formal training on the equipment. If you get hired into a company, they'll have a class or they'll have some courses, and even some of the manufacturers do that as well. One that I'm more familiar with is the union route. A lot of the union operators, they have training facilities where they hold classes and go through and teach you the proper way to operate and things to be aware of, and the basic essentials of what the machine does. What does this lever do? What does that lever do? How should I go about moving this from point A to point B? Some of us don't have access to all that, and you can always find a good old experienced operator and kind of say, hey, can you take me under your wing to be your mentor? A lot of times if you approach these guys well, they'll be more than happy to share some of their information with you, and they're an absolute wealth of knowledge that these guys have. You just got to pull it out of them. So alright guys, now that you've been introduced to the machine, you kind of understand the basic concept and the basic safety features of the machine. This is probably the most difficult step, or at least I think it is, to becoming an operator. And that's just gaining some experience and gaining some seat time. And how do you go about doing that? Well, that's an absolute excellent question, and I think everybody's going to have a little bit of a different path or different route to it. The best piece of advice that I can give you is just get around the equipment. Even if you can be on a job site and just study what other operators are doing, there's a lot to be learned there. And eventually, if you hang around long enough, you're going to get an opportunity to get yourself in the seat. And once you get yourself in the seat, you just need to focus on the basics. For example, if you're in an excavator, just don't do anything fancy. Reach out, pick up a pile of dirt, move it from point A to point B, and do it safely without getting the machine off kilter, and kind of understanding the controls. If you're in a dozer, just push in a straight line and kind of carry a grade. It takes time. I've been doing this for well over 20 years, and to this day I still learn a trick of the trade every day, and I learn a lot of those by just studying other operators and how they approach different situations and different things they do. So if you can find yourself, I know I said this before, but if you can find yourself a good mentor, if you can find somebody that will take you under their wing, then somebody you can go to and ask questions, they're worth their weight in gold. I promise you. There's so many things on a piece of equipment that you can't teach somebody. They just have to be acquired. And that's what will really set you apart from a lot of other operators, is those subtle little techniques end up making a huge difference. And the only way to do that is seat time, seat time, seat time, experience, experience, experience. And if you keep yourself exposed to it, if you keep yourself available on the job site and you keep bugging that guy, they will eventually put you in the seat, and you'll eventually get a chance to run that equipment. And at that point, you just got to take the time, have the patience, and prove yourself. So last but not least, one topic I want to hit on is you can be one of the best lever pullers in the world. You can reach out with an excavator and open a beer bottle, or you can strike a match with a bulldozer, have just mad crazy skills operating a piece of equipment. But in my opinion, that does not make you the best operator out there. A good operator can see the big picture and understand how to be efficient with that machine without it putting extra stress on that machine. I'll give you a few examples of that. A loader operator, being able to run into a pile, back up, and load into a truck with minimal movement and minimal stress on that machine, that is what makes you a good operator. An excavator operator would be another example. I'll give you a few scenarios on that. Being able to set up a borrow pit where you can actually put the machine up on a bench and be very efficient and have very minimal movement to actually scoop the dirt and set it into the truck. For example, digging a basement, knowing what to do with the dirt, where to go with the dirt, seeing the big picture of the job, so you're moving the dirt the minimal amount of times possible, and you're doing it in the correct order. I've talked about this a bunch on my videos as far as digging footers and basements, knowing which section of the footer or what section of the house to dig first, thinking ahead, knowing where that machine has to be placed to finish out without literally backing yourself into a corner. Operating a dozer, for example, you know, a lot of people use the term trench pushing or slot pushing. You know, how efficiently can you get the dirt from here to there and maximize the movement of that machine? Simple tricks like it's really hard to push around a corner, so you always want to push in straight lines, and then knowing when to switch from one piece of equipment to the other. How far can I push the dirt before I need to load it into a truck or a scraper and haul it off? Skid steer would be another scenario. Everybody always talks about every movement you make needs to count, you know, whether you're going forward to dump dirt and backwards to grade the dirt out. So that is what will make you a good, well-rounded operator, is not only knowing how to operate the machine, but understanding the job, the flow, and how the dirt needs to be moved, and doing all that without abusing the equipment. So hopefully that helped you guys a little bit. If there's another topic on here you'd like for us to elaborate a little bit, comment down below. Like I said before, this is Mike, aka Dirt Perfect, on the Heavy Medical Learning channel, and we shall catch you guys on the next one.